Boy, that was a rounding. Welcome, guys.
Hi, Jeff. How you
Excited
doing?
to be here, huh?
What's up, buddy?
All excited for another year. Daggone. No, I know some of us here, I believe are going to hopefully get some B-roll too. Have the opportunity to come in and watch some practice. You're always welcome for that. And just wanted to say thank you again. I mean, it's really, some of you I've seen here for all 18 years, others not as long. But I just really appreciate it. I don't take it for granted any time, any year that the media covers us here in Louisville the way you all do. And I appreciate it, and I want you to know you have access as much as you want. Just go through myself or Matt, and you're always welcome. So, like to start off just a little bit, just really excited about this team. Obviously, there's a lot of new faces, but a lot of talented players. Their work ethic has been fantastic. They're kids that love to be in the gym. They're in the gym on their own. It's been fun. It's been fun to see. And now we're at a point where we've had the opportunity to work with them some. And obviously, today's our first full day of practice, and now we'll get a good chance over these next few weeks to see, who's going to try and separate themselves to earn that playing time. Because at this point in time, I've just been really impressed with all of them. I mean, they've all showed moments that they've looked really good. And, with as many new faces, it's going to be fun to see who plays well together and what our best, groups on the floor are going to be. So anybody like to start off, feel free with.
Jeff, you mentioned in your 18th season, Steph's been with you the whole time. For the most part, so much continuity with the staff. Can you speak to that and how much that's led to the success, and then kind of a follow-up, what Amanda brings now to the staff?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been great. I mean, you've got Steph, who's been here with me for all 18 years. AJ obviously was here a year before in the marketing department, and then kind of, I think she got forced to come down and come into our office in my first year because we had extra space, and she's been a part of the family ever since. And it's something that I take a lot of pride in, the fact that we have done a really good job of hiring good people, and not just good basketball minds, but good people. And to be able to say that I've been able to go through 18 years, and any assistant we've ever had that has wanted to move on has moved on to be a head coach. And it's not saying there might not be one that looks to take a lateral move one point in time. But up to this point, when they've moved on to be a head coach. And it's really helped our continuity, because you're not changing staffs every 2 or 3 years. We know what we have. Everybody here wants to win. There's no egos involved, and I think that's hard to find sometimes. But we have done a great job of finding that. And every single staff member here just wants each player to do the best that they can do. And we're here to serve them and try and make sure that we give the best experience to all of our players that we possibly can. And then with the addition of Amanda, I'd always been a big fan of hers when we competed against each other. She had some very talented teams at Clemson, and we'd see each other on the road. We'd see each other at conference, our ACC, the tournament, and just always enjoyed the conversations that we'd have. And then when things happened the way they did for her there at Clemson, and we had a switch. Macy decided to go back to school to be a nurse. And then that allowed Courtney, who wanted to have some more administrative responsibilities, to move up into that op spot. It opened a spot for me, and it worked out. So Amanda has done a great job. She brings a lot of experience. She knows what it is to sit in that seat as the head coach. A lot of knowledge of the game. She does a great job relating with our players. And, with recruiting the way it is, the month of September is normally a very hectic month for us as coaches that are going out on the road recruiting, and Amanda's kind of stationed here at home. She's done a great job with our kids, getting them elevated, and our player development has been great. So I'm excited to actually now get a chance to be at practice more and really, pour into our kids.
Jeff, you mentioned the new faces with this team, 8 true freshmen and Sosa being the red shirt. Seems like everywhere through college sports right now, the trend is to get older, bring in a lot of people from the portal. Why was it important for you this year to build a team with a lot of fresh faces at high school?
Well, I'm not saying that's completely accurate. I think what's happened is similar to what took place with us last year. We're going after high school kids. We're still going after. I think everybody's still going after them. It's just that instead of having a top 5, say you're trying to get a point guard. Before the portal became as prevalent as it is now, before kids were able to be instantly eligible. So if I needed a point guard, we had a top 5 that we would go after. Well, now it's top 3. And if I don't get one of my top 3, well, then I just wait till the portal and go after a kid that's looking to transfer. And it might be a 1 year, a 2 year, whatever it is. And then you go back again to high school. At least that's how we do it. We had a really good year last year with our recruiting. Got some great kids, some talented players that stretched across all 5 spots. So we were able to put a freshman class together that's very talented. So we go on to this year, which we knew we needed one point guard coming into this. So we sat there and said, when the portal came open, Julia was in the portal from Miami, who we'd played against. I've got a ton of respect for her. I think she's one of the best defenders in the ACC. So we went after her, and that's 1 year. And now we'll sit there with the 25 recruiting class of incoming freshmen. We're going to go after freshmen. We'll see who we sign here in November. If we go over, then we'll go to the portal more. But if we sign some of the kids that we're hoping that we sign and we're in on, then we won't need to. I've always considered the portal is just a recruiting tool to go after key players that can help fill a need at that point in time. Now, I'm not going to do it, and I haven't. I mean, even if a great 2 guard comes into the portal, if I feel really good about our 2 guards, I'm not going to go out and get them. I'm not just adding someone to add somebody. So we were very fortunate with this class. We've got a lot of talented freshmen that I think are really going to play well.
So with the ACC expansion, obviously getting Stanford as one of the schools, it's going to be a little different this year, obviously, for Stanford. But what does a school with that kind of, brand bring to the ACC?
Well, I think it's great. I think, with the history that they've had in women's basketball, obviously it just adds another great program to our league. I mean, Cal had a really good year last year. SMU is talented as well. So I think we've added 3 quality teams. And then when you look at the rest of our league, we've had some teams that have done very well in recruiting with high school and portal. So I'm expecting this to be an exciting year for us in the ACC.
Jeff, tying back to the freshmen, you're a guy who's talked a lot about your program culture and the adjustment it takes for players to understand that and get used to it. They've been here for a little bit. Do you see any early signs of them kind of responding to that buy-in of what you guys expect?
Oh yeah, I've been very, very impressed starting back in the summer. We have kids that love to be in the gym, and that's the battle now. A lot of players say it, and then when you get them, they're only here when they have to be here. These kids are in here all the time. They love to be in the gym. They have fun being in the gym. And that's exactly the type of players that we were looking for. We've got a challenging schedule in front of us, especially in the non-conference. So we're going to be throwing them into the fire real quick. And we've tried to prepare them for that. We've been a little bit, probably a little more intense at an earlier point during our practices, our individual workouts than we have in the past. But that's because you put a freshman out there, if they struggle, you take them out, you put in a junior. Well, we don't have a junior to put in, it's a freshman again. So I wanted to make sure, I'd rather be able to pull back some in mid-October than get to the middle of October and be like, oh crap, we got problems, and have to put the foot on the gas. So I've been very impressed with what I've seen so far.
Jeff, the schedule comes out later tonight, the ACC, but your non-conference, you're going to get a lot of frequent flyer miles, if nothing else. Can you just kind of speak to how it came about? We talked to you about the Paris game before, but how everything else kind of came about with, some games that you had return trips, I think, to go places.
Yeah, the Paris game was a opportunity to do something that not every program gets a chance. It's only the second year that they've actually done this event. A cultural experience for our kids as well, which has been great. It's going to be, a lot of activities for them to do. The Eiffel Tower, the Louvre. We'll be able to see things that they might not just go and see. I mean, I've been to Paris once, so I think it's obviously going to be a great opportunity basketball-wise, playing a really talented UCLA team. But overall, I think it's going to be a great cultural trip for our kids. And then, we're going to UT Martin. That's a return game from when UT Martin came here twice during COVID, if you all remember that. I mean, they came up here twice within a month and played us at home when we had a cancellation, they had a cancellation, and Kevin, their coach, is a good friend of mine. He's like, I'll come back up. And that's hard. That's hard to find. So I said, hey, if you'll do that, we'll return. And things didn't work out last year just because of dates. So they're going there. We were supposed to play in an event that we were hoping would be held like in Orlando during Thanksgiving, and then that fell apart. So Colorado ended up having an opening. We couldn't play at home over Thanksgiving because of some events that were going on in the Yum Center and in Freedom Hall. So we're flying there. So we've got some games. Our UConn game was going to be a home game this year, but the tournament organizer up there asked us if we'd come up, and it was a great opportunity to play in New York City. And it just happened to be against UConn, so then UConn will come back here next year to play. So, we do have more games on the road this year in the non-conference, but next year we have a lot of them that are coming back. So excited for that. Our game against South Florida down in Orlando is being put on by the Women's Basketball Coaches Association. Danielle Donahue, who runs that, asked me when we were up there playing in Toronto last summer, if we put this on, would you be willing to come down and play? I said, sure, it'd be great. And South Florida, very talented team as well. So we're going to have a lot of early games that are going to be challenging, and it's going to be fun, I hope.
Coach, kind of piggybacking off that a little bit, with such a tough non-conference schedule, how do you think that's going to help you grow your girls and leading into league play, and also what you guys want to accomplish later on in the postseason?
Well, it's going to hopefully prepare us for what we're going to face come ACC. We've also got, as we just talked about, some really challenging road games. So it's not just playing them all here at home. We're at UK. We do play Oklahoma here at home, which will be a great game as well. But it's not just playing in them. We're going to have to figure out a way to win some of them too. So I've always said you can put a great schedule together, a competitive schedule, but if you don't win them, it's not doing you any good. I'm not expecting us to go undefeated in the non-conference. Now, we're obviously going out there to compete to win every game we play. But I'm looking forward to seeing the type of growth that we can make from one game to the next.
I think it was about halfway through last regular season, towards the end of it, when Liv decided that she was going to come back for her last year. Kind of a multi-layered question, but obviously, how big is it for her to get one more run here and to kind of be meshing that final season with such a young team?
Yeah, we were excited when she came up and talked to me and asked me about it, and was like, I think I want to come back. I thought it was a good decision for her as well. And obviously with the experience that she has had here, the success that she's had, looking forward to her to having a really, really good senior year, a fifth year. And that is only going to help prepare her for after this as well. The leadership that she can help provide, just from the battle she's been through, the experiences on the floor, in the big games, will be something I think our freshmen can really value.
Jeff,
Go ahead.
go ahead. That's all right. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Jeff, Jeff, you have Kenny Brooks now at Kentucky. I know you've known Kenny since he was in the ACC. What does he bring to Kentucky? And I know he'll probably be recruiting against you even more now. Kind of talk about him and what he brings to the table for them.
Well, Kenny's done a great job. He's had a fantastic 4 or 5 years there at the end at Virginia Tech, and did a great job with recruiting. So I think he's bringing a lot of excitement into UK's program. Obviously, they've just redone the Coliseum, which is a big thing for them as well. And he's a really good X's and O's coach. So I think we're going to have a lot of great games like we have in the past. And the recruiting front, everybody's been recruiting against each other. It's no, like now if someone's here, it's the first time you'll be recruiting against them. So, anymore, everybody's recruiting on a national stage.
You've had Angel and Shoney and Asia and Haley and Dana and others I'm sure I haven't mentioned, but of the freshmen that are coming in, are some of these players comparable to those players in terms of what they'll be able to achieve?
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. I've seen glimpses from several of them. Now it's going to be a matter of the consistency. Those are the things. Even though Asia, when you talk about AD, I mean, her freshman year she was injured for most of it. She had that groin where she really didn't start games. Had a good freshman year, not great. But then when she got healthy, all of a sudden everything really, it took off. Dana came off the bench for us her freshman year when we went to the Final Four, and then look what she ends up doing. So, of the ones that we've had, Shoney probably as a freshman probably had the biggest impact. When you talk about, we had I think 6 freshmen that year also, of coming in and really, electrifying things. So it's going to be neat to see which one of these freshmen, because they're all good, but which one's going to take that step the quickest. But like I've tried to explain to them all. I mean, you might come in and your teammate might go from here to here faster, but then in 2 years you might be up here. So it's don't worry about judging yourself by where your teammate is in 3 weeks. You focus on you, keep doing what you do, and then your journey will take care of itself.
Jeff, obviously today is the first day of practice, but while you haven't seen them in an organized setting like that yet, you've been around them for a couple months now. Are you starting to get maybe an inkling of what this team's potential identity is going to be, or is it too early to tell?
It's too early to tell. I mean, we really haven't had a chance to do a bunch of 5-on-5. So that's when I'll be able to really start telling when we can start competing 5-on-5. We're going to defend. We're going to get better at that. I don't think we were a great defensive team last year, as good as we have been in the past. So we've definitely stressed that. I can't say we shoot the ball better this year right now than we did last, and that's just strictly going off of shooting drills. You know, when you do a 5-minute drill, and our goal may have been 55 last year, and now it's at 65. So I can look at that at least through the drills and say, yes, we shoot it better. Now, when the lights come on and the game starts up, then we'll find out. But it's been very encouraging to see us be able to shoot the ball better as an entire team from behind the three-point.
Jeff, Nyla's progression each year has been remarkable. What did you talk to her about at the end of last year about improving, and do you feel like, you know, her leadership this year, it seems like, you know, she's probably have to do a little bit more?
Well, you know, I've talked with her just about making sure she keeps composed on the floor, cutting her turnovers down. She does a great job around the basket. She's really worked on her 8 to 10 foot shot, free throw line jump shot. Just really want to see her when she gets in the open floor, the anxiety, the excitement, just to be able to control that. Because if she can cut her turnovers down, then I think it's really going to help her be able to showcase her game. Because she rebounds it so well. She scored the ball for her. She shot a high percentage. It was just her turnovers that were the Achilles heel for her this past season.
Coach, did you see Maisha Allen last night on Monday Night Football?
I did not see her on Monday Night Football.
Her brother plays for the Jaguars.
Oh, I know that. I'm quite
so
aware
they
of
did a
that.
feature, and she was on there for a little bit.
Oh, I
Check
missed it.
out.
I watched her the other day play, and I talked to her. We still stay in touch. We try to stay in touch with all of them. But she looks great. I think for her it was a great trade to get up there to Minnesota. I think she's able to showcase what she does so well, and I think she's been an asset for them, and they've been an asset for her for sure.
Jeff, kind of working off that, just as someone who's been in women's basketball as long as you have, to watch the WNBA this season and the way it has taken off in terms of exposure, obviously coinciding with what your sport has done as well in recent years. What has that been like for you?
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, it's been great to see these players get the recognition that I think they've deserved throughout the years. Now, you know, I go back and I say this, we didn't have, like, when Maya Moore, the best players I've ever coached against, Maya Moore is probably, without a doubt, hands down, the best player. But we didn't have social media. So, like, when she did some of the things, like when her and Angel competed against each other, I mean, golly, it was remarkable. But, you know, if your game wasn't on ESPN, because there was no Big East Network, you were either on ESPN, ESPN2. I don't even know if they had ESPNU then. I can't remember. Yeah. But there weren't many avenues for the games to be seen, and then you had to be lucky enough if ESPN would put it on as a highlight, which back in 2009 didn't really happen. So nobody knew how talented these players were unless you went to the games. Now, social media has allowed us to see something that happens 20 seconds ago all over, broadcasted. Like, look at that move, look at this score, look at this game. We never had those opportunities. Caitlin's brought a lot of excitement to the game. There's no question about it. She's done a fantastic job. The people come out to watch her. I've been impressed with the way she carries herself. Now, she still whines too much. If she was sitting here, she knows I'd say it to her. I had a chance to coach her. She's a great kid. Okay? But, like, you don't see anything. At least I don't. Like, you follow her on social media, you don't, I don't know what's going on outside of basketball. And I think that's smart. So she's able to showcase, and you just focus on what she does on the basketball court. And it's been a credit to her. And people have come out to watch her. But when I hear people say, oh, she's the best player to play, guys, Maya Moore's the best player hands down I've seen. But part of that is Candace Parker was pretty darn good too. But again, we didn't have the opportunity to see the players like we have now. And I think it's great. And I think it's really good that, our sport's starting to get the TV time that it deserves. But there's still times I shake my head. I mean, after the All-Star game, there's nothing on TV. And I'm like, we can't even get WNBA games on a Saturday before NFL starts up, before, college football gets going like it does. But it's been much better.
A quick follow-up to that. Mayor Greenberg has talked about trying to get a WNBA team here, that he's been adamant about that. You've been on the record before saying you want that to happen. Is that something that he talks to you about at all? Ask for an opinion or mention to him?
Well, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great concept. I think what people in Louisville would have to embrace and have to understand, it's the same challenges that we have at times when we host NCAA tournaments here. The prices go from $10 a game to $20 a game, or $25 a game. Now we go from averaging 10,000 to getting 7,000. So I know a lot of people say let's bring it, but do we have the appetite to pay $20 or $25 a game every game? See, I think those are the questions that have to be asked. I'd love for them to bring a team here. I think it'd be great. I think some of our players that are playing in the league have the chance to play here would be fantastic. But you've got to make sure when you put something that the people are willing to pay the price.
Jeff, real quick, just building off of that, the WNBA recently announced that they're bringing an expansion team to Portland. Do you still hold out hope that an expansion team could come here one day?
Yeah, I'm not in any of those talks, so I have no idea. I mean, I look at a few of the places that teams are going, and I see the cities, and I think Louisville will be a great opportunity for some of them. We are in a unique situation, a unique market where you can get people from St. Louis, people from Cincinnati, from Nashville. Obviously, you have a team in Indy, but I think there's a pretty big population of possible women's basketball fans that could come in and watch games as well. As a lot of if you want to see a WNBA game here, you're driving to Indy. So I think somebody in Cincinnati would drive here as well. And then with the extra things that our city has, with our Bourbon Trail and different, you could tie it in and make it a weekend as well.
Out of all the freshmen, the two names that obviously stand out, Arenas, Randolph, when you have two players like that have just been around high caliber basketball their entire lives, does that show even this early on in your collegiate career? Does something like that pop being around that type of basketball?
Well, the one thing I've got to compare that with is like when I go watch my daughter playing the 5th grade teams, like she's been around me. I haven't seen much rub off. So, no, you know what? It's obviously they've been around basketball their entire lives, which is fantastic. But it's the one thing I don't talk about it. I don't. It's like, hey, you have your own journey. Azella has her own journey. Mac has her own journey, and I think that's what makes it special. Is their fathers had obviously great careers, but I never look at a kid and go, man, mom was really damn good. She's got to be good. It doesn't always work out that way, and I've seen some parents that weren't extremely athletic and their kids are fantastic. So I think them being around basketball is a good thing. So I think that's exciting for them. But I'm not going to sit there and say it's going to rub off or all of a sudden they're going to be first team all-league players. But they're good.
Yeah, you've been doing this a long time. You're always pretty honest about your teams. Is this a team that can compete for an ACC title and make an NCAA tournament?
Oh, well, yeah, I'd be extremely disappointed if we're not in the NCAA tournament. Our league is very competitive. It's going to be exciting to see where we are come January. I like the depth we have. I like our size at all spots. Adding Jalea really helps us at the defensive end. We've got some quickness to be able to pick the ball up. Taj is a really good on-ball defender as well. At 5'10", she's long. She can really stay in front of people. So we're going to look a little different, I think, on the defensive end. And then Isla at 6'4", has great hands. She finishes around the basket. She played a year professionally over in Australia. So we have some kids that I think are going to be able to make significant contributions to our program. Now, they're going to be freshmen. So there's going to be some ups and downs, but come January, I think they're going to have seen enough playing time that they're going to hopefully be able to become consistent.
Jeff, what's Jada's kind of the role of her on and off of the floor? I mean, you've got some leaders, but she's been through a lot of games, a lot of experience.
No, she has. I mean, she had a really good week and a half, the past week and a half. And she's been consistent. She shot the ball well. She's talked. She's made the right passes. That's what I need to see from her. She needs to be able, as I told her, like, I don't need circus shots to go in. I just need open shots to go in. And she'll get enough of them. And then she's got to be willing to attack the basket, not just to score, but to get others scoring opportunities. She's in the gym. She's skill-wise, she's as skilled as anybody that we have. Ball handling, shooting. I keep challenging the competitive side. Like, you've got to, if you're going to put all this time in that gym, bring the competitiveness out of you. And I've seen more of that, which has really been encouraging because I think she also sees the success that she's had.
Jeff, you've mentioned a couple times how Jalea Williams was a much needed boost on the defensive end. Before landing her, was there maybe a defensive deficiency that you kind of identified that you maybe need to bring someone like her in?
Well, no, we were looking for an on-ball defender, someone that could guard 94 feet. So we knew that that's what we were looking for, and someone with experience. Now, Azella does a great job with that as well, but she's a freshman. So now you're adding a fifth-year player who has been through the ACC, went to an Elite Eight, understands what it takes. So hopefully she's also going to be able to help our younger ones understand how hard it is to pick that thing up in 94 feet and guard it.
Felt like between the beginning of last year and the end of it, the player that showed maybe the most growth was Elif. What has she done this year to get ready for her sophomore campaign, and what's the next big leap you want to see out of her?
Well, she really had a good summer. I was fortunate enough to be able to be an assistant on that under-20 Turkish national team that she played on, and I thought she had a really, really good a tournament over there in Lithuania. So if she can take what the momentum that she put together from this summer and carry it over to us, I'm really excited for her. She shot the ball well, but she also scored around the basket instead of just relying on three-point shots, which I thought she did too much last year for us. She rebounded the ball well. So, yeah, and she's a kid that, I tell people, I mean, she got here the 1st of September of last year. Had never been on a visit. I didn't talk to her until the first week of August. And then all of a sudden she's here in school trying to adjust to college basketball, to America, the food, everything. So I thought she had a really good year for just being thrown straight to the fire. Now, she went home, had a really good summer, and now coming back, she knew what to expect. So she was excited instead of anxious. And there's a big difference between those.
Jeff, it seems like ever since Pat kind of came into the men's program, that the 502 Circle has had, various flash gigs or pledges to help not just that program but your program out. Where NIL stands with your program and how it's grown, or how have you seen it grow over the past year with you guys?
Well, it's still something, we're still at the grassroots. I mean, we are working hard, 502 Circle's working hard. It's something I spend time every day on. Because until the House settlement comes out, if it ever gets settled on revenue disbursement, it's going out in the circle, having the opportunity to raise money, do different things. So yeah, I mean, we're fortunate to be in a town that supports women's athletics, and I think they want to see us do well. And as you know, going in this new world, you know, you don't want to say it's the first thing that a kid asks, but it's top 3, top 4. And I don't blame them. I mean, but I'll tell you this, and I've shared it with some. I met individually with every single player on my team 2 weeks ago. Sat down with them, and we went through all the basketball stuff, all the academic stuff, and then I sat down and I asked them if they knew what a Roth IRA was. And we sat down with every single one of them. And we have a financial advisor who's going to come in the next week or so. Every kid wants to set one up. They had no idea. They had no idea what one was. I've got players, and I've probably got people in this room that have money sitting in a savings account, making a whopping 0.03% interest.
You got any advice for
Okay, well, I'll charge
It's a
you.
room charge.
I'll charge you, believe me. But like, you know, so I'm sitting there, and which I enjoy doing. I'm secondary ed business. I wanted to be a business teacher. Best class I ever took in high school, my father taught, was business math. You learn what interest is. You learn what CDs are. You know, and I've got kids now that are going out and getting a 4-month CD at 5.15% instead of 0.03, forget 0.3. And when I can sit down and show them, hey, look at the difference in the amount of interest you can make. And they're like, that's free money. Hey, well, that's free money. You know, so it's been exciting. We've also sat down, which we'll talk to you all soon. I've had the opportunity to talk with the men's staff as well, the men's players, and our kids are going to come together and do a cause. There's a cause. Our Savior Lutheran, the church that my family goes to. It's where my kids go to school. They've been raising money for all abilities playground, and Justin Thomas Foundation. There's a lot of foundations around the city are going all in to help, and it's something that one of the men's assistant coaches' wives works there. His daughter goes to school with my daughter. I'll give Lola credit. She recruited well because Tegan can play. She's on the volleyball team and the basketball team, so our team has gotten better at our Savior. But our kids, they're going to give to it. And I tell people all the time, this is one thing I'll say about this city: if you give, they'll get back. It's just like going out in the community and doing community work. It's amazing the number of fans we gain. Because like, man, if you're willing to come to us and be a part of it, we can come to your game. But I just think it's real important. I think we're at a different point right now in college athletics where, you know, when a player used to get cost of attendance, it was maybe $3,000, $4,000 for the year. But when that's all you're getting on, and I know you're getting a scholarship, don't get me wrong, but that scholarship's not covering you to go out to eat with your friends on a Friday night, okay? And you're not, up until this point in time, you weren't allowed to work. Now, with NIL, they are doing things that they can make some money. But I also want them to understand that it's important to give back. It's important to save. You know, when I can sit down and I show these kids, okay, if you max out your Roth IRA at 7%, at $7,000 max a year, and start at 18, and you at 65, that thing's worth about $7.2 million. You should have seen their eyes. They're like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, no. But I broke it down even simpler. I'm like, just put $2,000 a year, and then $100 a month until you're 65. That's about $1 million on about $75,000 contribution over that time. You know, we're trying to set kids up for generational wealth. Not just, okay, I got money now, I'm spending it. man, I want them to be able to hopefully take care of their families, take care of themselves. And if this can help that, then it's a win. But what I don't want them to do, and I tell them that I don't want them to go out and buy a $100,000 car, $50,000 car, buy a used car, it still runs. I mean, you know, trying to educate them on those things at this point in time. And it's been great, because I've got a group that they really want to know and they want to learn. So we're going to win basketball games, but we're also hopefully going to teach them about finances.
Are there any other life lessons that you're giving this young squad? I mean,
Oh, I got a lot of
I mean,
I got a lot of young ladies, I'll tell you.
Go for it.
No. We talk about everything. There's nothing we don't talk about.
Is there something like having a group like this that is so brand new to college, to adulthood, that you, with your years of experience in coaching, that you want them to know certain things for sure, so they're prepared not only for basketball but for life?
Well, yeah, there's several. I mean, first thing we talk about is just to be a good person. You know, social media is brutal. And the ignorance of people is bliss. I mean, believe me, being Jeff Walz right now, you should see the emails I get. I mean, God, the stupidity is running rampant at this point in time. You know, I'm told my family's embarrassed of me. How could I turn on my brother? My parents probably disowned me by now. Oh yeah, no, it's beautiful. It's the emails, and then you know, well, you might not know our ones that have been here for a while. There's nothing better when they leave their phone number at the bottom. Oh, I call. I've had some. The biggest mistake is I should have recorded them. You know, I had one gentleman that for about 3 minutes was who's on first, as he kept asking me about my brother Tim. And I said, I don't have a brother Tim. So you've disowned him. I said, no, I don't have one. So you're not acknowledging you have a brother Tim? I'm like, no, I don't have one. And that went on for about 2.5 minutes. Then I finally said, now I do have a brother Scott Brian. And he said, well, what would your mother say? I said, same thing, don't have one. And then I was kind enough, and I thought I was nice enough to ask him, did you look at the email you sent this to? And Jeff@gocards.com. I said, yeah, you Googled it? And all of a sudden I hear him typing, he goes, oh, so you're a basketball coach. Yeah, that's me. And he reads down, he goes, so you do have a brother Scott and Brian and a sister Jamie. I said, yeah, that's true. And no brother Tim. He goes, okay, thanks, click, hung up. It was great. Oh yeah. No, it's been exciting. That's why I just laugh at the stupidity. It's people. I got one from a person that I asked why they sent it to me at 12:22 in the morning. They said, well, I just got finished watching Stephen Colbert.
What?
No, and Stephen said I should send an email. I said, wow, if he said to jump off the bridge, would you jump too? That's what we got right now. So we're trying to teach all these kids. I tell them, I'm like, social media, it's good for many things if you're smart about it. But it can also be terrible, especially as an athlete. I mean, don't look at it, guys. They kill you. You do good, they love you. You have one bad game, you're terrible. So you got to understand, you can't live and die by looking at it and seeing what's going to happen. Be who you are and be true to yourself. But it's so tempting for them all. You know, for everybody. You got your Instagram, you got your Twitter, you got whatever, TikTok. There's a wonderful celebrity TikTok thing out there that talks about Tim Walz and Jeff Walz. Y'all haven't seen it? Oh, it's classic. And it's every time it says Jeff Walz, they show me. It's like a whole thing. Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. And you just gotta laugh. Like, what the heck are people doing? Can they not take two minutes to research something? So that's why I tell people all the time, I'm like, it's crazy on both sides. It's absolutely nuts. So we tell our players all the time, be careful. Make sure you research. Don't take a 10-second clip off of a Instagram, a Twitter feed, because then you have no idea what the entire context of the statement was. Yeah. Oh, I can go on. Any questions? What do you got?
You have plans to run for office then?
Listen, there's no chance in hell I'd win. People don't like honesty. They don't. No. They don't like honesty. They want lies. Like, just tell me what I want to hear. And then when I get elected, I can just switch anyway. I'll just say what I want to get elected. Then I can go the opposite direction. I mean, am I saying anything's not true?
Yeah, you're right.
No, you're
You're
right.
You
right.
didn't need the media to do that.
I mean,
You're exactly right.
it'd be fun. It wouldn't be a boring press conference.
Coach, you're talking about the election, all this stuff. Y'all are gonna be in Paris when that happens. Is there a plan beforehand to get the team?
Vote early, vote often, right? No, I'm
Daily
teasing. No, we have already absentee ballots. Our kids know how to do it. They've signed up for it. You know, I tell them we'll get an election booth brought to Paris. You can vote before you get on the plane, and then they have Wi-Fi on the plane. Vote again. And, you know, everybody thinks you can vote 62 times or whatever. No, we have done that. Our kids know exactly how to do it. That's one of the things the NCAA a few years back, which I laughed at too, when they said you had to take election day off because you wanted to give your kids a chance to vote. I'm like, hey guys, I'd like for you to do a research of how many kids go to school in their voting precinct. Because I don't think on election day my kid's going to California to go vote. They're going to do it absentee. So that's one of the many things I laugh at. That we, you know, it's like oh my God, a knee jerk. We got to give off on election day so everybody can vote. Most of the kids can't, they can't come out to my precinct and vote, can they? I didn't think so. I'll probably.
Maybe one of them will.
I'll probably get an email before I get back from practice. I appreciate y'all. You guys are always great.